Welcome to the fourth and final episode of my photography trip to Wales. In episode 3, after a long day, I ended up at Llynn Ogwen in Echory, or what used to be Snowdonia National Park. In this episode, I start with a hike up Ogwen to reach some cascades that I use as foreground to shoot Llynn Ogwen and Triffin. Then I move to Mumbles Pier near Swansea for some long exposures, and finally onto Strumblehead lighthouse near Fishguard. I hope you enjoyed the video and stick with me till the end. Good morning. So I'm just coming up a mountain path at the side of Llynn Ogwen, where I was at the falls yesterday, and this is what I'm looking at here. So you have that large pointy triangular mountain, that's Triffin. Then you have the lake and the other mountains. So as you progress up the path, there are, I believe, because I've never been up here, cascades or mini waterfalls that can be used in the foreground and look down on the actual lake itself and the mountains. So that's what I'm aiming for, but it's a bit of a hike, but I'm going to keep going because I reckon I'm a quarter or a third of the way, so there's no point in stopping now. Right, I'll chat to you in a minute. Triffin is a mountain in the Ogwen Valley, Snowdonia, Wales, and is one of the most recognisable peaks in Britain due to its classic pointed shape with rugged crags. At 917.5 metres, or 3,010 feet, it is the 15th highest mountain in Wales. It is also one of the few mountains on the British mainland requiring scrambling to reach the summit. Trwyfan towers over Llynn or Lake Ogwen, which itself lies over 300 metres above sea level. The lake covers an area of 78 acres or 320,000 square metres, but is quite shallow with a depth of a little over 3 metres. So I found my first composition. The river running down into the lake, there's a lone tree here just at the side of it, and I'm just putting that into the right hand thirds, and then you have the whole bowl that the lake is sitting in. You have the large triangular Triffin and then all the mountain range going around, and the tops of the mountains are actually snow capped, so it looks really well. Again, I'm not going to use a tripod here because there's nothing really to slow down, so I'll just take the shot and be done with it. I like this one. It turned out better than I thought from seeing it on the back of the camera. The shadows and the light on Triffin and the glitter and mountain range set off the background nicely. Added to that, you have the beautiful rustic colours of the dead grass and the bracken. And then you have that fabulous moody sky. Now, if there was only some leaves on the tree. So I found my cascades anyway. It's a fair hike up. Next thing now is to work out some way of getting these cascades into an overall image with the lake and the mountains in the background. So I've been working this composition for a while now, and it's a bit precarious. I'm right on the edge of the cascade here, and it's like a bog, so I just don't want to slip in and end up down in the lake. I'm using a 3-stop filter, and that's giving me 1/5 of a second at about f13, and because I have a 10mm lens on, which is on a crop sensor, it would be the equivalent of 15. I'm getting in all the waterfall, Trwyfan mountain on the left, and then the whole mountain range with the lake down below. Now, I did try some panorama stuff, but the ground is so boggy that it was hard to keep the actual tripod from shaking. And even here on the 10mm, I'm just using a 2-second timer because every touch of the tripod causes it to shake. The ground is so soft. But see, this seems to be working out all right. I'll give you a look now at what I'm looking at through the camera. So this is my composition here now. It is a tighter crop, it's a 16:9 crop, and that's why the actual top of the mountain is gone off there. But that's basically what I'm looking through at the moment. I'm very happy with this one. Okay, it doesn't have the colour of a sunrise, sunset, but I had to wait until it was bright this morning, as I'd never been here before. It's okay heading to these locations with head torches, etc., if you have a good idea where you are or where you're going. But I wasn't heading up here in the dark of an early morning, having never been here before. Really pleased, very moody shot, and definitely somewhere to return to. So I think it's time for me to leave. I think I've exhausted all the possible compositions that I could find around. Hopefully I've got one or two in the bag from it. It's a long way up. It's a strenuous enough hike, but at the same time I think the reward is worth it. It's well worth a visit. So all the way back down, cup of tea, and see what I can move on to from there. Once I got down from the mountain, it was time for the long trip south. As I mentioned in an earlier video, my plan was to go home on the Fishguard to Rosslare ferry on Friday at 2 p.m. It's now around 1 p.m. on Wednesday, and there are a couple of locations I wanted to shoot in South Wales. Good morning. You joined me from Mumbles, which is a seaside town just outside Swansea. I drove south yesterday, 4-hour drive, because I want to get the ferry from Fishguard to Rosslare home tomorrow. So there's a couple of places down in South Wales that I want to photograph, including this pier here, which has a lifeboat station. You can see the ramp on it and usual attractions of a pier, etc. I got here last night for sunset, but there was a lot of people around, so I wasn't taking out a video camera. I arrived about an hour or so before sunset, and I have to say it all looked a little disappointing, with the tide out and the untidy rocks on the beach. I scouted out various compositions both down on the beach and up on the prom, and decided the best option was from the prom. But I still needed water, and it was a 2-hour wait and pretty much dusk or blue hour before the tide eventually covered the beach. But it was a beautiful calm evening, and my patience was rewarded. Two images here, taken from the same spot by the looks of it. Taken a few minutes apart as the mist and fog rolled into the harbour, and eventually the water finally covered the beach. If I had to pick a favourite from these two, it would be this black and white image. I think it captures the mood of the evening better. But then again, even as I'm saying this, I love the subtle colours in the previous image as well. So really, I suppose it all comes down to personal preferences. I'm happy with both of these, well worth the hanging around. And after these, it was time to return to the van for some grub and well-earned sleep. It's been a long day since I was on the mountain above Llynn. And I'm back here this morning a little after sunrise. As you can probably see on the video camera, it's a little hazy, but it might make a nice kind of black and white fine arty type thing, because you can hardly see the horizon behind it. I was hoping for a better sunrise, but it hasn't been great. There was a pink and an orange hue on the horizon, but overall the sky is pretty clear and hazy. So what I'm doing at the moment is the tide is in, and I'm smoothing the water with a 2-minute exposure. I have a 10-stop and a 3-stop filter on. I'm shooting at f/16, and that's giving me 2 minutes. And what I really want to do is just smooth out everything and just see how well the actual pier itself stands out. So I've come up much closer to the pier now, just searching for different compositions. And I'm almost on the pier now, and I'm looking right down along the pier and out then to the lifeboat station. And because of the angle of the sun, it's much clearer. That haze that was down 200 metres down the prom is not there now. But what I am losing is I'm losing the ramp of the lifeboat station. So all I'm seeing is the back of the actual lifeboat station there. But I still have all the pier and all the stanchions and all that, and they're going out. And I'm using the same recipe basically, 2 minutes at F16 and smoothing out the water. And I think I'll get a clearer, more definitive shot of the pier from here than I did down below. I think this is a nice shot. The side lighting from the right of the image throws some lovely shadows onto the flattened sea. The sky isn't great, and that's a pity. But I'm glad I moved from my original spot, as it provides a totally different image from the previous night. So that finished the sunrise shoot. At least I got one image from it. After that, it was time to have the brekkie and get on the road to Strumble Head lighthouse. It's about a 2 hours 15-minute journey, despite Google Maps' optimistic timing. But most importantly for me, it's only 25 minutes from Fishguard and my ferry home the next day. So I've come from Mumbles to Strumble Head. So from Mumbles to Strumble. This is it's only about 20 minutes away from Fishguard, and it's a magnificent lighthouse, as you can see. It's quite windy here, but unfortunately the sea is not really rough. There is some white foam in around the rocks, but it's not rough enough to get a really good effect. Having said that, consolation is that the bright contrasty weather is gone, and there's a nice moody dark sky in it at the moment. I've been in this position for the last 10 minutes or so, and I tried different filters. I used a 3, a 6 and a 10 stop, and that's given me roughly 2 seconds, 10 seconds, and even with the 10 stop, when I closed it right down, I got up to 2 minutes. So that's it. I mean, the shot seems to be from here. Now I need to explore around because I haven't got over the far side or anything, and it's my first time here, so it's all completely new to me. But it is a very impressive lighthouse. As you can see, the light is on, it's flashing away there, and I just wish the sea was a bit rougher. I think it would be really dramatic here. Having said that, I don't think I'd be standing here if it was that dramatic. I stayed another half hour or so, and dark rain clouds came in as it neared dusk. I cropped in on this one to emphasise the lighthouse, but I could imagine using the whole length of the coastline leading into it if the waves had to be higher. So I've just come up to the back of the lighthouse now, and I think there's one more composition here now. I don't think it's anything as good as the original first one, but what I've got are a series of steps that lead down to this bridge here that crosses over to the little island that the lighthouse is on. And just using those as a kind of a leading line, that the red handle goes down the stairs and then across and over onto the little iron footbridge, and that brings it up then along those steps to the actual lighthouse itself. Now unfortunately the rain is starting to come down as well, so I'm kind of squeezed in a corner here, as you can see, and there's my composition in general, something like that. So hopefully, look, it'll work out. I'll get this done and get out of here before I'm wet again. I think this worked out okay, given the conditions and the way I was squashed into the vantage point on the steps. Now it won't win any awards, but it's a nice image to have for a photo book or album of images from the trip. So this is my last one from the trip, and I'm happy enough with it. So that's it from Strumblehead Lighthouse, and indeed from the entire Wales trip. I've been here 7 days now, heading home on the ferry tomorrow, and I spent most of it in North Wales, and I just came down here at a couple of locations that I wanted to do, one at Mumbles Pier and one here at Strumblehead Lighthouse. I must say I'm very impressed with this lighthouse, although there does only seem to be, you know, one or two compositions. Overall the weather was quite good. There were days that it was just too sunny and contrasty, but I suppose that's better than the rain. Right on cue now, as I sign off from my last location, the rain is starting to come down. So listen, thanks very much for watching, appreciate it, and don't forget to hit the bell, subscribe, like, and all of that, as it really helps me to develop the channel on YouTube. So once again, until next time, stay safe and bye for now.